Welcome back to the Force 9's YouTube channel. Welcome back to Tale of the Toffees. A very special video today. As always, we are going to look ahead at what happened after our tenure at the club. So as you can see, I've resigned from Everton. They no longer have a manager. So what we're going to do now is see what happens. Because last episode didn't go too well. I lost the FA Cup final 2-0. Man United winning. We didn't have a single shot on target, but let's forget about that. I've resigned. I put all the Everton players from the senior squad and the under-23s into a shortlist, so we're going to have a look at their progress over the next few seasons, maybe one season, maybe 5, maybe up to 10. Well, wait and see what happens. So, yeah, we are going to simulate. In fact, let's just have a look at who the favourite is to get the job. As you can see, there's the message saying that we've quit. Okay, so the favourite is Ståle Solbakken, the Copenhagen manager. Mancini is second from Inter Milan, and Nuno Espirito Santo, who I think was a former Man City or Chelsea manager, is third. He was Man City manager, yeah, there you go. Okay, so all that remains is to fast forward to the 2019-2020 end of season. Okay, it's the 1st of June 2020, so we've done one season. We're going to have a look at what's been happening. All I can see so far is that PSG won the Champions League, Mourinho won another Manager of the Month, and there's not a lot else here that's really important at the moment. So let's find the Premier League table then and see where we finished. Okay, here's the table. Now, straight away I can see that Man United won by quite a lot. 93 points they finished on, only lost 3 games in the season. Everton are in 5th place. Bit of a step down from winning the season before with me. But at least they're still in Europe. 5th place. They've got a Europa League spot next season, so that's not too bad. I think that is pretty much the sort of table you expect, I think, from any season. Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal running out the top 4. Liverpool 6th. That's quite a normal Premier League table. Maybe Norwich in 11th is a bit of an overshot, but other than that, I think that's a pretty normal Premier League table actually. That's quite interesting. Man United winning their 3rd title in 4 years. So there you go. So the last day of the season we had a 2-0 win against Tottenham. Are we in the top scorers at all? Nothing there at all. We do have the most injuries in the team at the moment though, so there's always that. Manager is Ernesto Valverde, who is the former Athletic Bilbao manager. He was there for 7 years. He has joined Everton in 2020, so I wonder if there's been another manager sacked. There you go, I was right. Conte left in March 2020, so he was sacked after 276 days. Does it say why? 17 games won, 14 drawn, 13 lost, a 38% win ratio. That got him sacked. David Unsworth was caretaker manager for a couple of weeks, and then Valverde came in at the start of April. So I wonder why Conte got sacked then. Let's have a look at their scheduled matches then. Let's just fade out everything except the Premier League, and let's have a look at their league form. Okay, so started off with 5 games without a win, which isn't very good. They did get their first win against Southampton though. Barkley, Luan and Vazquez got goals there. 3 wins in a row. Got a few more wins in there. Didn't have a very good time in December. In fact, they didn't win at all. Well, no, they had 1 win in December, and that was on New Year's Eve. So that's good. Who got the goals there? Lukaku got 2 goals there. Crystal Palace win. How about the big teams? Liverpool, it was a 1-1 draw. Also lost at Old Trafford there. Luan getting a goal for us there. And then in the reverse fixtures, we've got a draw at home. Barkley getting a goal there. But then we lost 1-0 to Liverpool. Mandzukic got goals there. So that's a bit of a shame that we couldn't beat our rivals. So, you know, in different form, it's not too bad. We ended the season well actually, but unbeaten in the last 8 games. So that's good stuff. Some of our best results. I haven't seen any 3s or 4s, which is quite interesting. A few 3-0 wins. Not too many bad defeats actually. Only 2 1s and 1 0s. So that's not too bad. So the league, we got 5th place. 5th is okay. I'm not too disappointed with that. At least I'm relegated. Let's have a look at some of these other competitions then. So what else do we have? FA Cup. Let's have a look at this. You've got to be kidding me. They got to the final again and they lost 2-0. That's really unfortunate. A 2-0 defeat against Spurs. So they faced Spurs on the last day of the season, then faced them in the FA Cup final. At least we had shots on target that time. 4 shots on target. Lacazette scored in the 3rd minute and Josh Onomar scored right at the end as well. So unfortunate we couldn't win the FA Cup there either. I think it's a case of being always the bridesmaids and never the bride for Everton in this case. Looking for some players that I don't recognise. There's a guy called Rodri. We've got Gonzalo Guedes. Walton's on the bench, a young goalkeeper. Ribeiro's there as well. So a few new faces there. So we'll have a look at transfers in a second. In terms of outgoings, I know that Jagielka, Stekelenburg and Leighton Baines were retiring. Seamus Coleman's contract was up. Other than that, not a great deal of info on who's going in and out. So it was quite an easy FA Cup run. Other than West Ham, I think the rest of those might have been Championship opposition or lower. They beat Preston, West Ham, Cardiff, Bristol City and QPR on the way to the final where they lost to Spurs. So yeah, another FA Cup final, which is good. But they couldn't win it again. Let's have a look at the EFL Cup then. Didn't go so well. Went straight in at the third round. Sunderland beat them at Goodison Park in extra time. Phil Jones got sent off. Babacar, of course it's Babacar, he always scores against us, scored in the 190th minute to send them through. So they got to the Champions League, of course. We'll have a look at the Community Shield very quickly, because we had that, of course, because we won the league. Man United beat us 3-0, so that's another defeat against United. Mata, I signed Dembele, that's a good signing, and Paul Pogba. How much did they pay for Dembele? Let's have a look at that. £22 million. God, Dortmund didn't play him much at all. But yeah, they had Dembele. They beat us again. It was a 3-0 that time, so that again we couldn't beat United. Champions League, let's have a look at this. Group stage, we had Inter, Bayer Leverkusen and Maccabi Tel Aviv. Not too bad of a group. We've had worse. I think the groups that we had during the save were much harder. And it looks like they did get through. But they got PSG, the eventual winners of the Champions League in the last 16, where they lost 4-1 on aggregate. Let's have a look at the group then. Here it is, Group G. So Leverkusen won the group, 3 wins and 3 draws. We came second. We suffered 1 defeat. Inter Milan, third place. They went in the Europa League. And Tel Aviv didn't win any of their group matches. So the game we did lose was against Inter Milan at the San Siro. But we had a good 3-0 win over Tel Aviv. We also beat them in Israel. I think that's where that is, isn't it? And 2 draws against Leverkusen, so you know, winning one of those might have sent us top of the group, but there you go. And then yeah, PSG knocked us out. So let's have a look at the team then. Transfer history, let's have a look at this first. So let's see who left. So we know about Jagielka. Oscar Duarte went to Bournemouth, £6.5 million fee there. Could rise to 9.5. That's a good piece of business. I didn't play him very much after the first season. He did really well in the first season. He's got a lot of goals. But after that, he kind of dropped off and players played better than him. So he has gone to Bournemouth and a bit of profit on him as well, which is good. Jude got loaned to Cardiff, up-and-coming player. Hopefully one for the future there. There's the retirements of Stekelenburg and Baines, a few loans. So releases, Liam Walsh, we saw him a few times in the season. Did quite well, actually. Seamus Coleman left on a free, a few more loans there. Barry Hino went to West Ham for £17 million. Now, he was our top scorer last season, I believe, with 23 goals in all competitions. And he's gone to West Ham, so a bit surprising, that one. And a couple more sales. Mason Holgate went to Sheffield United and Jermaine Anderson went to Leeds. You know, prospects for the future at the start, but didn't really develop very well, so they left the club as well. Now, incomings, you've got 5 signings here. Starting off with Gonzalo Guedes from Benfica, initial £28 million fee. Looks like a winger. They can mainly play on the right hand side. So was that a replacement for Vasquez or Mora, or was it just an addition? Or did he play on the left and replace one of those guys? I don't know, but he looks okay. So 15s and 14s are good. Not a bad signing at all. A lot of money though. It was quite a big fee, wasn't it? £28 million. And he played every league game. He got 7 goals and 3 assists. He did fairly averagely. 6.7 is average. So he, for the money, I think he should have done better. But there's Guedes. Rodri was signed from Villarreal, a Spanish, is a defensive midfielder. Yeah, kind of a midfielder. £5.75 million. They played him in 16 league games. And again, he didn't do great. So far the signings have been uninspired. Another former Benfica player, Yuri Ribeiro, 23 at this time in the game. Paid £5.75 million for him and played him in 11 league games. He did okay, 7.04. Decent. Issa Diop from Toulouse, 23-year-old centre-back. I can't see any of his attributes, so I don't know if he's any good or not. Because, yeah, you seem to forget players once you've actually left the club. The attribute masking is on the Everton players that I managed for 3 years, and suddenly I forgot about their attributes. So Diop went to Everton and he was loaned immediately to AC Milan, who didn't play him at all. So that's a good piece of business as well. And then one January signing, Alan Musselwhite, which is a pretty cool name, signed from Brighton as a regen, 17 years old. Has he played at all? He didn't. He did play in a cup game. So there you go. So let's have a look at the. Can we have a look at league stats maybe? Here we go. So Premier League then. So Nacho, Barkley, and Casilla played every Premier League game, which is good stuff. And then everyone else played like 36s, 33s. Rocker and Pickford didn't play a single league game. Ogzan only played 2 appearances for Ogzan, who was one of the best players of the saves. He's been transfer listed and only played 2 league games. So that's a bit disappointing that one of my best players doesn't play. Anyone else down there that hasn't played much? Vardy didn't play a great deal. Neither did Phil Jones or Vazquez or Ward-Prowse. I'm interested to see what formation they went with here, because Ogzan and Ward-Prowse both didn't play and they didn't really sign any midfielders. So I want to know what formation they play. Well, let's have a look. This is the tactic they played in the FA Cup final. It's a 4-2-3-1 with 2 defensive midfielders. Barkley played very deep in that game, goodness me, alongside Rodri. No wonder they lost 2-0. So if that's the game you're playing in the FA Cup final, Luan played up front, so that's interesting that Luan played there. He scored 17 goals. Guedes got 10. That looks like a good piece of business. 10 goals there. But Klaassen, what am I looking at Klaassen for? Klaassen did pretty well. But Luan playing up front got 17 goals, so maybe I was playing him wrong. I was playing him on the left-hand side, like swapping him over with Deulofeu. Maybe playing him up front is how you get him to perform, because he got 17 league goals. 17 goals in all competitions, I think that is. So who was the best player on average then? It was Mario, 7.23 average rating over 37 games. He got 6 assists and 5 man of the match award, so good work for the right back there. Kind of a late signing in the series. Mario was a January signing in our last season, so he played a few games. He got 6 games and did well. And in his first full season, he was actually the best player in the team, so that's good. Other good performers, Michael Keane and Williams. So the defending looks like it's really good. But going forward, Luan did pretty well. Lukaku, 20 games off the bench and 6 starts. Managed to get 10 goals there. Nacho did okay. Gueye did pretty good. Barkley. And then the ones that didn't play very well are the players that really didn't play very much. So there's that. Okay, so let's have a look at the best 11 for the team then for the season. So Casilla in goal, back 4 of Williams, Nacho, Keane and Mario. Onazi and Gueye, both the best players. It looks like they did go with that 4-2-3-1 with 2 defensive midfielders, which is an interesting tactic. Considering, we had really good midfielders in Ogzan and Ward-Prowse. They just didn't get used. Ross Barkley playing in the number 10 role, and then Guedes to his right looked like he had a really good season actually. And Lucas Moura on the right hand side, 7 goals in 30 appearances, not too bad. Could be better, could be worse. I think that's less than he got from me though, so yeah, there you go. And Luan playing up top, 49 games in total for Luan. He had a very busy season. Okay, so that's what happened in the first season. It took about an hour to simulate that. So we're going to go forward again to 2021 and see what happened in the second season. Okay, I've just gone ahead to the Champions League. And again, it looks like PSG won it. Yes, they did. Looking over the table, Everton ended up in 8th place, so they're declining, which is a bit disappointing. A couple of things that I wanted to look at from the other season was the Europa League and the EFL Cup winners, and also Euro 2020 was in between, so I want to look at that as well. Okay, past 2 winners of the EFL Cup are Fulham and Southampton, so that is very interesting. Fulham, that's an odd one. Where are they? 17th in the Championship, and they won the EFL Cup. And Southampton won it this past season. 3-0 win over Chelsea in the final, so that's good. As for the Europa League, let's see who won that. Barcelona are the holders. And the season before that, it was Monaco who won it. So another interesting one there. The European Championship was won by France, who I believe won the World Cup as well in 2018. Correct. So France doing the double there, doing a Spain. They won the EFL Cup, the European Cup and the World Cup. Okay, so Everton finished 8th, which isn't very good. And let's see why they finished in 8th place. First of all, let's have a look at the table in full. Surprise, surprise, Man United won it again 4 times in 5 years. We're the only ones that won it in that time. And again, the top 6 is as you'd expect. It's a very normal Premier League table. So things, going back to how they usually are. Everton, 17 wins, 7 draws, and 14 defeats, which is a far cry from, I think it was 4 defeats that I had. So that's unfortunate. Okay, so why did Everton finish 8th place then? Let's have a look. Same manager, Valverde. The captain is still Lukaku's vice captain. Ederson is their key player, so a new player there. And Jude is still hot prospect. Is Jude still at the club? He's on loan at Sunderland. He's had a couple of loan spells at Cardiff and Sunderland. Not had a great deal of success there in the Championship. So yeah, we'll hopefully see if he maybe plays for Everton in the future. But so far his loan spells haven't been too good. Okay, so let's have a look at the Premier League then. Let's have a look at some of their biggest wins. 4-1 over Newcastle, which isn't too bad. More goal, 2 from Klassen, 1 from Luan. There's some 3-1s, some 3-0s. So yeah, there you go. 4-1 defeat against Crystal Palace at home. That's not good. Ben Woodburn scored 2 goals for them, the Liverpool kid at the moment. Who's, well, at this stage, is probably about 22. So there you go. Livermore and Castanos. Any other bad results? Not really. Let's have a look at, how we did against our rivals again. 2 defeats against Liverpool. And a defeat and a draw against Man United. So again, our rivals, we're just not winning those games. Okay, FA Cup, dearie me. From 2 finals in a row to going out in the 3rd round to Huddersfield. And Huddersfield are near the bottom of the Championship. So well done, Everton. You did really well there. As for the EFL Cup, they beat Barnsley 3-0 and then lost to Spurs. So not a great deal of luck in the Cups there. They won't have been in the Champions League, will they? No. Europa League, they finished 5th, so you'd hope so. Oh, they got to the final! They got to the Europa League final, so, there's still a final in there somewhere, that's good. Braga, Genk and Lokomotiv Moscow are the teams they drew in the group. They got through that pretty easily, actually. They only dropped points against Genk. In the last 32, they had Saint-Etienne, a 2-0 win at home and a goalless draw in France, which is good. Bit of revenge on Besiktas, that's good. They knocked us out of the Champions League a couple of seasons ago. We knocked them out in the last 16 of the Europa League. 2 1-0 wins there. Athletic Bilbao in the quarterfinals, 3-1 on aggregate. Good result there. Mora and Guedes with the goals, and then Mora scoring in the second leg as well. Beating Roma in the semi-final. I think, did Roma knock us out of the last 16 in the Europa League? Like, in our last season? I think they did. I've got a feeling they did. And then we beat them 1-0. Klaassen getting a goal at home. And Guedes getting the goal in Italy. And then getting to the final, which is held in... Where's De Kuip? Where is that? It's a stadium in the Netherlands. 3-1 defeat. Lukaku scored for us. Suarez, Messi and Quiroga scoring for Barcelona. So at least we got to a final that year. That's good. So who did Everton sign in this window? First of all, let's have a look at who they sold, actually. James Ward-Prowse to Norwich. What a step down that is. £5.5 million. How has he done? He played every game for Norwich, well, almost every game for Norwich, and played okay. But again, he didn't fit into the guy's tactics, so there you go. Branislav Ivanovic has retired. What's he doing now? He went to Passos... Oh, yeah, he went to Passos de Ferreira, we knew that. But yeah, he retired, doesn't have a job at the moment. Let's have a look at the retirees, actually. Let's have a look at Leighton Baines and see if he's doing anything. Not at the moment, no. Baines doesn't have a job. What about Phil Jagielka? Jagielka doesn't have a job. And Martin Stecklenburg doesn't have a job. So there we go. The retirees haven't moved anywhere else. Petre's contract expired. Has anyone picked him up? Blackburn have picked him up. Played 3 games for them. Good stuff. Who else? John Joe Kenny got sold. Not a great deal of sellings, actually. Ribeiro went out on loan and Diop went out on loan. So did Nicky Clark. So, yeah, not a great deal happened there. But in the transfer window, we seem to like Benfica players at the moment, which is a bit strange. That's 4 Benfica signings in 2 windows. But let's start from the top. Kurt Zuma, a solid defensive signing today. In 2021, though, well, he looks very good actually. So I'm not gonna, argue with that at all. £18.75 million, 28 league appearances, scored a goal, got 2 assists. Had a pretty solid year, so that's all right. He played for a while for Chelsea, so yeah, that's a good move, I think. Zuma seems to be a very good player. Terry Caid from Cardiff, a Welsh player. Can't see a lot of his attributes. Signed him for £375k and didn't play him. Edison from Benfica, £21 million. Oh, goalkeeper. He apparently is our key player. So he must be like backup to Casilla or something. No, he is actually started every game but one in the league. £21 million. 12 clean sheets. He did pretty well actually. Fair play. From Benfica. So I'll be interested to see what happens with Casilla then. Manuel Noblega from the B team, £10.25 million, 21 years old. Again, we can't see a lot of his attributes, but he played one league game and got a 6.2. And lastly, Alex Song, wow, from Rubin Kazan, £950,000, aged 33. They're paying him £145,000 a week. Well, actually, he did quite well, so I'll show that right there. 32 appearances, got a 7.21. So, 33. Alex Song still looks like a very good player. Let's have a look at the player list actually, and let's have a look at the earnings now, because our highest earner was about £105,000 at one point. Gonzalo Guedes is earning £215,000 a week. I think I saw in that first season they fell financial play, and it's no wonder why if they're paying people 215 grand a week. Who else is earning loads here? Luan's got 180 grand now. Casilla's got 135k. Onazi's got 125k. So everyone's got some massive wage rises at the moment. Poor Delafay, who's still on 57 grand a week, look. In fact, how much has he played? Not a great deal, I would imagine. 19 and 18, so yeah, not too bad, I guess. So, Premier League then, the best player. Well, in one appearance, it was Kiko Casilla. He played one game and came off the bench once. But the best player who played a lot was Alex Song, 7.21. Jetro Williams up there with a 7.14. Nacho. Onazi did quite well, but he didn't play a great deal. Edison did okay. Mario did well again. So again, the defenders, they're doing very well. It just doesn't look like we scored a lot of goals. In fact, let's have a look at our goals then. As you're going to see, not a lot. Lukaku was top scorer in the league with 12. Then it was Luan, only got 9 in that season, so not as good from the Brazilian. The other Brazilian, Lucas Moura, getting 8. Guedes got 5. So not nearly enough goals scored there. Assists, Guedes got 8. So again, like it just didn't seem to work out for him. And in terms of tactic, did they play the same thing? Yes, the last game, which was the Europa League final, they did play the 4-2-3-1. But this time, Luan was on the left and Guedes was up front. So it looks like they alternate that. But Luan playing on the left in that game. If we have a look at the best 11 for the season, and not a lot different. Alex Song has replaced Ross Barkley. And Zuma has replaced Michael Keane, and Edison's replaced Casilla. So a few different things there. Jack Walton played 3 league games. And Senior's been playing a few as well. Let's have a look at Lucas Senior. 21 years old now. He did play in a few league and cup games, but he hasn't played in the league. Has he scored any goals? He scored a couple of goals in the cups actually, so fair play for Lucas. Well done. I'm going to go to my player shortlist. I'm going to sort it by age, so we can have a look at some of these younger players. So we've got guys like Stuart Craddock, who's gone to Port Vale. Richard Bolton. Let's have a look at Bolton. He was on loan. He didn't play for Everton in that season. He played a few league games for us, of course, but not much more than that. Nicky Clark, has he been playing much? He's been on loan, I think. Yeah. He played 5 cup games and got 2 goals in the 1920 season, so that's good. Who else here? Jose Augusto, the up-and-coming defender. He's had 3 loan spells, so not really played much for me again. 1 game for Everton. What about Panayotov, the Bulgarian? I didn't play him, but he got 1 league appearance and 1 game off the bench in the European competitions. Chuchan we couldn't get a work permit for, so I doubt that he played many games for Everton at all. No, he's had a couple of loan spells at Zurich, which is one of our feeder clubs. And I'd imagine it's the same for Salcedo. Yeah, he's the same. He's gone to Zurich for a couple of seasons. So no work permits for those guys. Okay, so that's 2021. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go 3 years into the future. So it'll take us 5 years on from when I left, which will leave us at 2024. Now I'm going to do this tomorrow because it's past 10 o'clock in the evening. And it's going to take probably a good 2 or 3 hours to simulate to 2024. So I'll reconvene with this in the morning.